Hey, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, you know who it is, Dr. Mike, back again, once again, with another classic Raw Talk session for you guys today. If this is your first time watching a Dr. Mike TV video, please make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, check out the online platforms, check out the ebooks. Everything is listed and linked in the description area below. Do not wish to be before you long, so I'm going to go ahead and rip this one off like a band-aid. I got to ask you another question, guys. I know I asked you one earlier, but now I feel like I got to ask you another one. Could you honestly see yourself sending money to a Filipina that you have never even met? I repeat, could you honestly see yourself sending money to a Filipina that you have never, ever even met? Take out your pen and paper, take out your pad, whatever it may be, because I got a story to tell. Alright? Now, I've told this story before, so this is going to be a repeat for a lot of you guys, but I never want to give you something without at least giving you a background of how it affected my life and why I am so adamant about the things that I say in my videos. First things first, when it comes to asking that question, you're always going to ask, is that Filipina trying to scam me? But let me tell you my story. When I first got to the Philippines, you know, a young buck, probably about 18, 19 years old at the time, I didn't know my way around the Philippines at all. And I didn't know my way around Mindanao at all. So, I was trying to talk to this girl who was living in another area. I stayed in Davao City. She stayed in Jensen or Digos. I can't remember. It was that far back. Now, Jensen and Digos is not that far from where I live, but I didn't know my way around. And, of course, I didn't feel safe leaving Davao City. Mindanao isn't the safest place in the world. And back then, I just didn't want to take any chances. So I said, why don't you come see me instead? So I told her, I'll pay for you to come and, you just come kick it with me. And she said, okay. So I sent her money, but she never showed up. Not at all. Again, I never met her in person. I knew her Facebook page, whatever it may be, but she never showed up. So then I messaged her, and then all of a sudden she tells me, oh, I was unable to make it because my grandma died. I mean, imagine that. Magically out the blue. Your grandmother passed away. She acted like she was all sad. Told me, oh, I need money for the funeral. I need money for this. I need money for that. You see where the story is going. Ultimately, I ended up parting with more money than I thought that I would in that particular situation. And it didn't quite end well. And again, I was mad about it. I was really pissed off. Like I told you guys before, one thing that you don't come between is Mike and his money. But, ultimately I parted with it and I had to take the L. I took a loss, and that's the type of shit that I would never expect to happen to me. I'm supposed to be the motherfucker who knows everything, right? But back in the day, I had to learn the ropes just like everybody else. So I'm telling you right now, before you ever make this fucking mistake, please listen to me and heed this motherfucking warning. Pardon my language, but heed this warning. Please don't ever send money to someone you never met. You never seen them on Skype, if you've never seen them in person, if only you've seen pictures on Facebook, if only you've seen this, if only you've seen that, never ever send money. Even if you have seen them in video or whatever it may be and that person is actually a real person, you don't have to send money. You should never send money, especially because you've never ever met this person. Never send money to anybody. My man TaylorMade Dreams likes to refer to it as the Western Union poppies, the guys that send money who, send money to women overseas and stuff like that while they're living in other countries and stuff. So, I want to warn you guys that this is not good behavior. This is actually a sense of disparity that I am not sure that I want to keep you guys holding on to. I don't want this girl to make you fall into a trap of sending money and then you feel like you are obligated to that person like you've been before. Trust me, I know how this game goes because it's happened to me. I will never tell you anything that I have never gone through myself or I have never known people to go through it themselves, So, again, if you had to ask the question, could you ever see yourself sending money to a person you never met? The answer should absolutely be no. I understand that Filipinos come from dire situations. I understand that some of these situations may actually be true. 9 times out of 10, they probably are trying to scam you, but that 10% where they're actually being honest with the situation, I want you to understand that, again, like we said before, sending money is just something that you don't want to make a continuous act. You don't want to make somebody your charitable project. I mean, it's just not worth it. I'm telling you. I know that deep down inside it'll make you feel good as a man, but most of the time, I just don't feel like it's worth it for you guys. Because I know that how I got burned, I never want any other man to feel that way. I know that I'm not the only one that this has ever happened to. So if you have your own story, you can leave it down in the comment section below. If you feel where I'm coming from, got to get the likes up on the video. But again, I am not the only one that this has ever happened to. But what I did notice, though, to these guys who send money, there is one thing that I did find rather funny about the entire situation. And I think that this is true for probably most, if not all, men. They only choose to send money to the women that they find to be attractive to them. Now, maybe that woman is not attractive to me or to somebody I know, but maybe to you, that woman is absolutely the most attractive woman that you've ever seen, or she fits within your realm or the specific type of woman that you like. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, she's so helpless and she's telling me this sad story. You know, she's going through a problem. Somebody's pregnant, somebody's in the hospital, baby's sick, whatever. Tell you a sad story. It's telling you a sad story and selling you a sad story, and that makes you want to help, right? When these women sell you sad stories, basically they're buying into your human side of wanting to help them. And of course, if they look even remotely attractive to you, you're going to be willing to jump through fences to make sure that girl gets exactly what she needs. So again, I do ask the question, and I do pose the question, you know, could you honestly see yourself sending money to someone you never met? But ultimately, I do want to make it known that women are very, very, very competent, and they're very, very smart and streetwise when it comes to dealing with, you know, living that life in the Philippines. So there is women that will sell you a story rather than tell you a story. And that might be what this video may be titled. I had other things in mind, but I think that's where we're going with this one. Alright, so again, I will never tell you something that's never happened to me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are wise or hip to the game, but I will tell you this, Filipinas are very, very good with their words. Okay, they're very, very mesmerizing with the way that they say things. And, you know, the way they look to you, how beautiful they are, all the above could definitely lead you down the rabbit hole. And that is definitely a live stream or a video that should definitely come out soon. You know, women who lead these men down the rabbit hole based on the economic standpoint, you know, where we stand, and the types of money that men trick out when they don't necessarily have to trick out. But again, guys, I just don't want you to fall into the trap. Never ever send money to a woman you've never met before. And I feel like making this video was kind of redundant, but you would be surprised at how many people have sent money and will still continue to send money as long as the story is sad enough for them to buy into. You may have been burned once, may have been burned twice, you may have been burned 5 times, but right, you think number 6 is going to be different. You think the 6th time, this girl is actually the one. You think this time she's actually going to be the one that's different from the other ones. And she's not going to take you for everything that you own or take you for as much money as she could possibly get from you. Please fall back, think about the situation, and never, ever, ever send money to women that you've never met in your life. I will give you some food for thought before I close it out. And this is true for the good Filipinas that I have met. A good Filipina will never ask you for money online. Never. Never, never, never ask you for money online. Number 2, a good Filipina would rather ask money from family. She would rather ask money from, she'd rather borrow money from these lenders. She would rather find any other way to get money before she has to come to you. The foreigner will always be a good Filipina's last option. She will only come to you when she has exhausted all of her resources. The good ones is what I'm telling you. The bad ones, your first, last, and only hope, right? You're the white knight. We talked about that earlier. And I don't want you to fall into that trap. Don't want you to fall into that gap. So with that being said, I'm going to end it like that. All right, so I want you guys to understand that you should never, ever, ever send money to a woman that you've never met in person. Don't let the woman sell you the story or tell you the story. Don't buy into the bullshit, because most of the time that's what it is. And with that being said, the good doctor is officially out. At least knuckle paalam, which means we are going now. Bye-bye. As always, I love you guys. Sincerely do. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.